All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt. Before we get started, because I tend to forget, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I want to welcome all of our new subscribers. I made it sound much bigger than it is, but we definitely picked up some new subscribers. So thank each and every one of you. Shout out to Corey, who's always the first to put a little first comment on there. So he doesn't say anything, but he goes first. So appreciate that, Corey. You've been supporting us for a while, so thank you very much. All right, and I'll also just say this. Listen, man, as we get more and more subscribers, interject with the show. Now, eventually we're going to do some live stream. It just doesn't make sense for us to do it until we get more subscribers, but that doesn't mean you can't leave a comment. We'll certainly talk about it during the next show. If you got any questions, got any comments, feel free to post them below. All right, lots to talk about, at least for me. So we're going to dive right into it. Without any further ado. But Matt, any opening comments that you may have?
Yeah, just one busy week as everyone's getting their training camp going, and preseason games are coming up for everybody. I did see the Eric Allen Pro Football Hall of Fame induction. That was his speech was interesting. Like, I thought Antonio Gates and Sterling Sharps were more emotional than Eric Allen's. Eric was kind of like reading his resume a little bit, wasn't the most emotional or tied into like.
Yeah, it was pretty serious.
Yeah.
He just basically had a serious, yeah.
Yep.
And, I agree with that.
Doesn't mean that he's not, very caring about these other things, but, very dry, serious guy, right? This is like exactly how he played. So,
yeah.
But it was cool to see him. Cool to see him get in, and he mentioned all the guys, like Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, the people that we grew up watching play football. So, congrats again to Eric Allen. And then the only other tidbit I have that was interesting, and I just saw it today, was the Madden numbers came out, and there was a reporter that was going through Eagles training camp, just revealing to some of the players what their numbers were. So, clearly there were some normal things like, I'm not going to go like AJ Brown's clearly dominant enough in the game. Jordan Mailata dominant. Lane Johnson, all these guys have like high 90s numbers and stuff like that. But what was interesting was,
I think if I heard right, Matt, just real quick, if I heard right, I think both Lane Johnson and Saquon Barkley both got 99 ratings. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think that's right. The top scorers, I think Jordan Mailata ended up at like a 96 or something like that. Jalen Carter was like a 90. And so as they're going through all those things, there was just two things that popped to me that I found kind of interesting. Number one, they had Reed Blankenship on there, and they were telling him how Cooper DeJean's awareness score was higher than Blankenship's score. And Blankenship's like, well, there's no way that's true, but I guess if you return an interception in the Super Bowl, they give him bonus points there. So I'm like, and I kind of agree with that. I'm like, yeah, Reed's awareness is pretty good. He's not as fast as DeJean, and but he is always in the right position. He's the closer, as we refer to him on our podcast, for making the last drive pickoff to just close the game, So I thought that was kind of funny hearing Reed talk about Cooper DeJean's number and how it was higher than his awareness. But then they had Kyle McCord and Tanner McKee, and they're asking, we're like, all right, what do you think you got? And Kyle McCord goes, I don't know, like 65, 63 or something like that. And he was either a 65 or a 63, but that's where he was. And he's the rookie from Syracuse, right? And then he's standing next to him, and they go to him, and they're like, well, what do you think you got, Tanner? And Tanner's like, well, I don't know, like probably 75. And they're like, 61.
What?
So they rated
lower than McCord?
They rated Tanner McKee, who anyone that's listened to us, we are high on Tanner McKee as being.
We certainly didn't do the ratings.
Yeah, he's a sleeper at quarterback, waiting to be starting for a team that desperately needs one. And so he laughed that off, and he's like, "Yeah, all right, well, watch tomorrow night, and then you tell me what my score is." So I was like,
did he say that? Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Man,
I thought
you gotta like that about him too. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he totally laughed it off in confidence, like, "Oh, yeah, no, not even close. It's not even close." So
I mean, that's ridiculous, though. Seriously, how could they have? What was Kyle, like a 6th round pick?
Yeah,
and you got McKee, who's been nothing but impressive in the games that he's played in both preseason and regular season games. and he gets a 61. That's just, that's I'm glad he left it off, and I love his response. I didn't see that part, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So we'll see. I can't wait to watch the game tomorrow. I should be able to get it because of the Sunday ticket. Sunday ticket shows all the preseason games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I should be able to watch that game.
I believe
tomorrow.
so. And then yeah, and even if you miss it, I think that the NFL Network will replay the game.
Replay.
I don't know if they'll show it live, but all right. So, well, yeah. I mean,
forward to that. That's right.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll touch on that real quick then. So the Bengals and Eagles will play the first preseason game for both teams tomorrow evening. And from what I understand, the Bengals are going to play their starters for the first, or at least their offensive starters for the first quarter. So there'll be a lot of Joe Burrow out there against our backups. Yeah, they're playing him the whole quarter. That's at least the rumor that I heard today coming out of Cincinnati. I guess Burrow prefers that. Like, it's almost his call. Like, he says Joe says he wants to play a quarter. So
I could see Joe playing that. Like, I think Joe's the best quarterback in the NFL.
So, I think so too. I mean, he's just a gamer. He's a lot about his game that you really like, especially all those games. Like, I felt bad for him last year. All those games that he like rallied the team from being down because they couldn't stop anybody, and then the other team would just get the ball last and win. And Joe's walking off the field again, never complaining, never pointing blame at anybody. He just kind of felt bad about him. So hopefully he rebound. I mean, not rebound. So he had a great season, but hopefully the team's a little better this year. Okay, so first preseason game tomorrow night. That's always exciting. Don't expect the Eagles starters to be out there at all. Maybe they'll surprise us, and maybe Hurts comes out and the offense comes out for a series, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But it's always good to see these third and fourth stringers battling it out, because there's a couple key positions we've talked about where there's definitely open competition. I'm sure Sidney Brown. I don't know about Sidney. I mean, I don't know. I think he should play. If he doesn't, then he's going to play in the preseason. I just don't know if it'll be tomorrow. Because right now they do have him as the number one in the depth chart, which is good because I want Sidney to start. I've already said that. I'm on record saying that. But there's still a battle. It's not like it's his job. Nothing's been solidified yet. So you got the safety battle. You got the backup defensive tackle battle, which now takes on a whole new meaning after one of Matt and I's favorite depth guys on the team gets traded this week. So we'll talk about that. Actually, let's get into that right now. So Howie in the middle of the night, what was it, Tuesday night? Yeah, I think so. Tuesday night, in the middle of the night, makes a trade with the Raiders. I guess out there it's not in the middle of the night. So out there it was like probably 9 o'clock. But anyway, one of our sort of unsung heroes, Booker, defensive tackle, gets traded to the Raiders for Jacorian Bennett, who was actually their starting cornerback for the Raiders last year. Now, initially you're like, all right, whatever. Starting quarterback of the Raiders, that's not all that impressive. Well, a couple different things I think is the reason why he kind of was even available to trade, because his numbers are actually pretty good. I'm going to go through them in a minute. But first of all, they got a new coach. So you got Pete Carroll coming in. And apparently he runs a little bit of different defensive scheme than the coach that the Raiders coach last administration that was in there. So he kind of was the third string guy this year. It was coupled with the fact that he also missed the last 7 games last year with a shoulder injury. So he didn't play the second half of the season. And the new coaching change kind of fell out of favor a little bit over there, and how he swooped him up. Now, what's interesting is that this guy was picked in the fourth round, the pick prior to Ringo. 4th round a couple years ago, he was the selection just before Ringo, which makes you sort of ponder the question: was this the guy the Eagles were targeting that round, and then settled for Ringo because this guy went? It makes you wonder. Who knows? And you have to ask Howie that question, but it kind of makes you wonder. But anyway, so yeah, he was picked just before Ringo was in the 4th round. And again, he's been starting. Ringo has yet to start for the Eagles. Now, this to me sends a couple different signals. One of them, primarily to me, is that Vic and the Eagles are not too thrilled with the way that number 2 quarterback battle is going.
Yeah. Quarterback clearly an issue if they made a trade. Yeah.
Yeah. So they certainly want to the very least, bring in some more competition, and that's what they're doing here. Now, Matt sort of, when I texted Matt this comment, that comment, he goes, "Well, it also means that they're comfortable in letting Booker go for defensive tackle depth," and I guess you can make a case for that too. Here's my initial take. My initial reaction to this when I first read it, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like I was not happy about it at all because I like Booker. I've said that on this program. But as I've dug into it a little bit more and I read more about this Jacorian Bennett guy, some of it I just mentioned, that he was a starting cornerback already. But here's the thing. He didn't give up. He didn't play the whole season. Again, missed 7 games. Didn't give up a touchdown. Okay, we're talking about the Raiders too, right? Didn't give up a touchdown. Quarterbacks against them had a 45% completion rate.
And that would be who? Mahomes, Justin Herbert.
Right, some good quarterbacks
in the division.
And that's twice a year, right?
Yep.
He also held Jamar Chase. I don't know if I have the exact numbers. I know it was 30-something yards. 3 catches for 30-something yards. It's pretty impressive. I mean, certainly for giving up your depth defensive tackle to get a guy that has those type of numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying the guy's destined for stardom, but I can see why Howie's like, you know what? Yeah, let's bring this guy in here. Now, I'll give you kind of the flip side of that because Pro Football Focus didn't have the most greatest reviews of this guy. He said out of 105 total cornerbacks who played at least 400 snaps last year, Bennett ranked 82nd. So his grade was 58.6.
Is Adoree Jackson on that list?
I don't know. It doesn't give me the whole list. It doesn't. But so it's kind of like a mixed review. But I tell you what, I know Pro Football Focus. I'm not sure, what goes into a lot of their measurements. To me, it reminds me a lot of analytics, where analytics can help you in certain ways and also can hurt you in certain ways. I'm not a big analytics guy all the time. But
no, I wonder.
When you see that
I was going to say, I wonder if Zach Bond was ranked on Pro Football Focus's rating of linebackers before last year. We'll see.
Right. And you got to factor. I mean, I don't know again what they use to measure, but I'm sure that him playing on the Raiders defense probably hurts those type of rankings. I don't know because I don't know exactly what they're measuring. I don't know if it's all individual only statistics or if there's some of the analytics that is representative of the defense that he's in and that factors into the rankings. I don't know, but it might. And you had made a good point too about Zach Bond. What was he ranked at Pro Football Focus before last season? I'm sure it's not as high as he's ranked right now.
Right.
So we know that. Right.
He probably went from 86 to number 2 or 3, if not number 1.
Yeah. Now, the other thing, I'm not going to go crazy about him, containing Jamar Chase. Maybe Chase was banged up that game. I don't know. Maybe they didn't throw to him much. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. But it's still pretty impressive that he, held Chase under 40 yards receiving. That's still impressive, regardless. And the fact that he didn't give up any touchdowns is pretty good. So I think it's worth the shot. I'm not as bent out of shape about it. And I really wasn't bent out of shape. I was just disappointed. I was like, I would rather not let Booker go. Yeah. But I see why Howie did this, and I think it's worth. I really think now it's probably worth the shot for one main reason, and that is I think it's easier to find depth at defensive tackle or D line than it is a cornerback. So that's another reason why I think it's worth the move. And now let's see, this guy might be our starting corner. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts.
It's at first the thing struck me too, like Booker, he's a guy that we had our eyes on because he was making plays as a young defensive tackle. And before Jordan Davis showed up in the shape that he's in for this camp, that's who was going to push possibly Davis out of the way. Who's gonna go? And I think Howie loves what they see. Howie and Vic Fangio and Sirianni love what they see out of Jordan Davis. So I think they are immediately thinking like, okay, well, that's good because now we got one guy on defensive tackle that, the Eagles are a great organization. I think they deal with their players with a lot of genuineness, like authenticity. And I don't think that would have been a hard conversation with Booker to be like, hey, JD came in great shape, which means you're hardly going to get any playing time. And we know you can play football. And so we're going to give you the best shot and give you this chance to play for the Raiders because we're too deep. You're not going to get any time here. And you deserve
and trade him early enough in training camp where he's got time to establish himself with the new team, learn the new team, and potential to start with some of his ability, potential to start over there. So, you're right. They do treat their players well. This is another example of that.
And then at the same time, nobody clearly is impressed with Adoree Jackson. Is what I think of that. I think the Eagles are like. I mean, Jackson's got a few years in the league, and if he's not like a solid gap filler, I guess, for this year after losing Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, I think they would have more faith in letting the young guys continue to grow with Keely Ringo and Ely Ricks and Jakari that they just traded for.
Jacorian Bennett.
Corian. I'm gonna have to practice that. Yeah, I think Adoree Jackson may be the odd man out, especially if he starts, stinking. I mean, they didn't sign him for much, but I just don't think. I wasn't too keen on that signing, other than that's in case we don't get some other opportunity, let's sign this guy type of deal. So, who knows? He might be a training camp cut if this new trade can work out. So we'll see.
Well, we'll see. I think I might take the other side of that, saying that he might survive if it's between him and maybe one of the young guys, only because he's got the veteran. He's a veteran presence back there, so and that accounts for something. And he's not played bad, and he just hasn't separated himself. It's not like nobody's really saying he's had a bad camp, but neither one of them have had a camp where they have impressed the Eagles enough to be confident enough that at least to this point that they're ready to put him in that starting second, corner slot. Yep. So we'll see. Competition hopefully will bring out the best in everybody. And now you got a guy in here who is much like Jackson, a guy who started in this league and had some decent amount of success. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, initially, not thrilled to see Booker go. He's also just 25 years old. This cornerback is 25 years old, so he's young too. They're both 25 years old. It's tough to give up a guy like Booker who's showed that he can play and get pressure, especially he's a good pressure guy. In fact, he looked thinner this year. I saw that they just interviewed him the day before at camp. Another reason why I was like, oh man, but he looks like he lost some weight. He almost looks like I wonder if they were going to line him up on end as depth this year too, maybe. But
I can picture that. We'll see. I mean, he's another guy that just strikes me as a violent defensive lineman. He's just all motor, full of hustle.
He's a bulldog in there.
Yeah. Maybe not the best, biophysical stats, but he's a player. So hopefully he does well.
Well, I mean, they got depth too. You've obviously mentioned Davis. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Davis certainly coming in good shape and looking much better. And also they, of course, invested a 4th-round pick in Robinson, Ty Robinson, who's looked pretty good. He's an older rookie. He's 24 years old. So he should, this might take him a little bit to get adequated into the defense, but guy with a lot of potential for sure. And I've been hearing a lot, and I have not watched him much. Is one of the guys I'm going to keep my eye on tomorrow night. Is this guy, defensive tackle Gates, who has been apparently impressing the coaching staff and some of the reporters that have been there have been talking this guy up. I don't even know who it is. Somebody Gates on the defensive tackle.
Interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'll be watching him tomorrow night. So remember that name, Gates. I'm going to be looking at him. All right. So I wanted to touch on the linebacker play. I know we talked about that a little bit last podcast, but it seems like every single linebacker that the Eagles have in camp right now is playing very well. All of them are playing great.
Yeah.
All the reports are Trotter's playing great. I talked about Smiley Mondon he's been playing great, making a lot of plays. Campbell's been making plays and hurting people while he's making plays. Apparently, he knocked Van Sumeren out one of the practices.
Poor Van Sumeren. That guy, I don't know. He might be one of those guys that's concussion prone. I love that player, but I don't know. He just seems to get knocked like his bell rung a little bit too often.
Yeah. Well, he is learning a new position to his defense, but yeah. So he got nicked up. He's okay though. He's already back, but he missed a couple practices because I guess they've been saying that Campbell's been a little overly aggressive in camp, but I'd much rather have a guy be overly aggressive than not. So I don't really. That's okay as long as he's not cheap shotting anybody. They just say he's just being a little overly aggressive, and he actually acknowledged that the other day. He's like, yeah, I need to tone it down a little bit. So
I saw a lot.
I'd rather be. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I saw the most articles I read this week were about Smiley Mondin. Like they were just
right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of positive articles, lots of couple interviews with him where his answers are exactly what you want to hear a linebacker. Like he knows he 100% is all about, I am way better than where I was drafted. And I know how to play this game and I'm going to show you. And I'm like, it'll be cool to watch this guy
play. He does speak very confidently, and the guy's jacked up too. Like he is built like a freaking Adonis. Like I didn't realize he was as jacked up as he is. So yeah, I mean, he's one of the more impressive guys. And another guy I'll be watching, him and Gates I don't know a lot about, but I'm very interested in watching Smile. I think his name is Smiles. It's weird first name, but watching him, seeing how he plays. They say he's been a lot, like Vic has had him in a lot of coverage packages. Like apparently he's really good in coverage. So be interesting if he's, already in his rookie year, maybe being in some package, third down and long situations or something like that. So that's a guy to keep a close eye on. He should be playing a lot tomorrow night. Same with Gates. Robinson, I would think it would be playing a lot.
I think Trotter Jr. is going to get some time too.
Probably, although right now he's probably the starter until Dean comes back. So maybe not. I mean, Campbell. I guess Campbell. I don't know. It depends if they're going to play 2 linebackers or 3 linebackers. I don't know what they're going to do. Usually it's 2, right? So it'll be Bond and maybe Campbell or Trotter, I think is what it'll be.
It's big nickel or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. Well, I think Dean's out, so they have Smiles who's definitely going to play. Campbell, you might see him. I don't know how much, but he might get some action. Trotter will probably play. I agree, because they don't really have. They have one other guy that's in camp too. That's a linebacker. I don't know his name, but there's probably a couple other guys we have like kind of no name camp bodies that are in there. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, what I was getting at is that this is as solid. I mean, we went for how many years, if not decades, with like barely anyone at quarterback that we could even name. And now this team can roll out 3 or 4 good linebackers. It's like, and that's because of Vic. I mean, that's got to be because of Vic. Vic needs good linebackers in his defense. So I think that's the Vic factor, not so much Howie. But I mean, we've been begging for good linebackers. How many years have we said get a linebacker, and they never did? Because we love linebacker play. Matt and I grew up during the Buddy Ryan era. Seth Joyner,
Byron Evans, and
William Thomas. I mean, yeah, they always had really good linebackers. Really until Buddy left and Bud Carson left after that, and then they kind of just forgot about position. Yeah. Never put any money towards it. Obviously Trotter Senior too. Can't forget him.
Trotter great. And then they had some guys like Carlos Emmons that could play, and then
Emmons was pretty good.
Bradham,
what's the guy Jones? Remember the guy Jones they got from the Giants that one year? Something Jones.
Jones.
Jones? Honey Jones. Yeah, he was pretty decent. I mean, they always had decent, and then they went 15 years with like garbage at linebacker. I mean, just scrap heap guys.
Mark Semino, some Matthews son that nobody.
Oh God, the only bad Matthews in the entire family.
It's terrible.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Like a bunch of guys that never really worked out. Ray Farmer, like a bunch of draft picks. Nobody ever.
Until they got.
Till Nigel.
Yeah,
Nigel
yeah.
Bradham's
Just
the
spent
last
many years with
really good linebacker that showed up.
Nigel Bradham came in, but they got him as a free agent though. You know, they brought him in. Well, they had Kendricks had a few good years.
Yeah.
Michael Kendrick. So, but again, few and far between, and no one that really was established that lasted more than like 2 or 3 years. So, all right. So I wanted to just point that out. And let's see, anything else I want to talk about here? Vic, we talked about Booker Gates, blah, 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 starting cornerbacks. All right. So I wanted to talk about AJ Brown's comment that he made. I think it was earlier today, actually, his press conference. Okay. So he made, and this, nobody knew this. He kept it completely quiet last year. And now you kind of understand why. So during the playoffs, he didn't say the entire playoff run, but certainly the couple of games leading up to the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl week, or the 2 weeks prior to the Super Bowl that they have off, AJ Brown, he had a knee injury and he was getting it drained twice a week.
Didn't know that.
So he was playing hurt. He was playing hurt last year. Yeah. That's what I mean. He divulged that today in the interview. And not the interview, but his press conference. Yeah. So now he's back healthy 100% now. But last year he was getting in the playoffs, getting his knee drained twice a week, and playing through some pain. So hats off to AJ Brown.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he was reading his book on the sidelines. Trying to keep mentally in touch, knowing that my knee's not full capacity.
Maybe to distract him from the pain he was in. All right. Well, that's all I got for sort of news and notes from camp. We're just closing in on the 30-minute mark, which is always good. Keep it nice and tight.
Tight.
What's that?
Nice and tight.
Nice and tight. Yeah. So program note again. We'll be back next week. We're not going to have a show Saturday. We got some other commitments going on for the weekend. We'll be back on Wednesday. And more than likely, we're going to have our good friend, Commander Fan, join us to talk about the NFC East, talk about McLaren and the Commanders and what's going on there. So we'll have our friend Johnny Flowers join us to talk a little bit of NFC East football, get a little inside look on our division rival, Washington, see what they're up to over there besides the inner workings of trying to figure things out with their top wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we'll both bash Dallas, I'm sure, as well, because, that always makes things fun.
Apparently, the Commanders were all in brawls with the Patriots today. So they played.
Really?
Tomorrow night, yeah. Or Friday. They've been brawling all day today. I guess there was a couple fights that broke out during the the scrimmage practice.
All right.
So we'll see.
That's a feisty team. Well, speaking of that, the Eagles, after the Cincinnati game, will have their, I think, 2 straight weeks because they play the Browns in the next game, but they're going to have those inter-team scrimmages during the week. So the Browns and Eagles are going to be together, much like Washington and the Patriots are right now, having their sort of in-house scrimmages against each other. So we'll see if anything breaks out between those two teams. What's interesting is that, you always hear about iron sharpening iron. Well, I mean, the Eagles have 2 of the best bookends at tackle in Lane Johnson and Mailata, and they get to go practice against, Myles Garrett. So nobody better than that to get ready for the season.
Nope.
And the same thing with Garrett, facing those guys. So, and here's the other interesting point about the Cincinnati game. Not that we were talking about that because we were just talking about the Browns, but getting back to Cincinnati, you get Chase Brown and Sidney Brown get to hang out a little bit tomorrow night. So that's kind of cool. For those of you who don't know, they're both twins. In case any Eagle fan out there is not aware of that.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now, Chase should have a pretty good start in the season this year for the Bengals. So we'll see if Sidney can crack the start lineup for the Eagles.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, there's certainly Chase has basically solidified himself as their number 1 running back over there. So, he had an impressive season. He had almost 1,000 yards. Didn't even start the whole year.
Yep.
And scored a bunch of touchdowns too. So, all right. Any closing thoughts while we wrap this up?
No. Good luck for all those that are starting their fantasy drafts over the next few weekends.
Yep. Ours are coming up for soon.
May all our starters not get injured in the preseason, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's why we hold off ours till pretty much the very last day. Just in case. But yes, everyone that's out there drafting their fantasy leagues, good luck. Have fun. And tomorrow night, go Eagles. I know it's just preseason, but it's always good to see the team back out there in their uniforms and pads and knocking some people around with some football action. So enjoy the game, everybody. Again, hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss any future content and shows. Make a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the game tomorrow, on training camp, and what we discussed today with linebackers and the Booker trade and all that kind of good stuff. And how cool Matt's jersey is, representing good old Wes Hopkins, number 48. Many of you probably weren't born to see him play, but you want to talk about a guy that would knock your freaking socks off if you cross the middle of the field. A lot of people talk about Dawkins because they've seen him play. This guy hit harder than Brian Dawkins, and I have no problems saying that. Not that Dawkins didn't light people up, but I mean, Hopkins was just a bigger guy. So number one, if he hit you, you felt it more. I mean, that was basically it. Yeah, he was a load. So rest in peace, by the way, to Wes Hopkins. So, all right, with that, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you again next time. And until then, as always, fly, Eagles, fly. We'll catch you later.